problem is you need to be fairly limber. I'll help you. Okay, so I have a question for you all this morning. Do you like playing or watching sports? Who does? Okay. All right, well, what is your favorite sports team? Is there one that you play? Basketball? Who else? Do you have a favorite sport? That's right. Football. Yes.
Soccer.
Baseball. Baseball. Okay.
Skiing.
Skiing. All right. Okay. All right. Skiing is good too, Jeff.
Hockey.
Hockey. Okay. All right. Horseback riding. Okay. Good. Anybody else?
Hiking.
Hiking. Okay. All right. Well, my favorite sport to watch, whether in person, I don't often get to do it in person, or on TV mostly, like Grant is football. I grew up watching football. I think I've often told people that when I was 4 years old, my parents gave me a football helmet and a football for my birthday. So I don't know what that means. Anyway, there's one thing that occurred to me as I was thinking about today's lessons, about what I wanted to say to you today. And that is that there are no popular sports that don't have an area, with the exception of hiking, horseback riding, and a few others, but team sports anyway, that do not have an area that's called out of bounds. Have you thought about that? Okay, so think in your mind. Think of a basketball court, think of a baseball diamond, think of football field, think of a tennis court. Okay, so there's an area that's called out of bounds, right? Okay, so that is an area where if the ball passes over that line, or someone's foot who has the ball hits the line or goes over it, that ball is out of play, right? Okay, and what happens then?
Game stops.
Okay, the game stops. Maybe the other team gets the ball. There's a foul ball. Okay, so we know those things. Okay. Yeah, so you can hit a baseball or a softball out of bounds. Or you can even hit it beyond the diamond, and what's that called? That's a home run, and then everything doesn't stop, but people walk the bases because they don't have to run, right? Okay. All right, so we are used to thinking of some things as fair play and others as out of bounds. Okay? And there are usually lines that tell us which is which. Okay? You know, within this line, this is fair play, and outside is out of bounds. Okay. Well, today, we hear about Jesus going out of bounds. He is far out of bounds. He gets in a boat and he goes across the lake to a country, to a city that's not even Jewish. So that's out of bounds. He's crossed right over the boundary. Does anybody know what swine are? Steve, do you know what swine are? Okay, we talked about swine and swine herds today. We probably thought, what the heck is that? Pigs. Swine. So that means they kept pigs. Jewish people believe that pigs are unclean. Okay, so that's another way in which Jesus is out of bounds. In this place where they do these unclean things, like keep pigs. And then Jesus gets out of the boat and a man meets him. And this man is unclean. So in that sense, he's out of bounds. He's been out of bounds in his mind for a long time. Just tortured by his own thoughts. And whenever people in his town see him running and shouting and taking all his clothes off, they capture him and they chain him up. And they try to restrain him. But what happens? He breaks out, gets away. Okay? So where has he been living? Do you remember? people in Jewish society at this time, that's an unclean thing to do. And so Jesus is just totally out of bounds here in every respect. Okay, so if Jesus goes out of bounds like this, everything should stop, right? The wall should be reset or something. Okay. Well, people might have expected him to say something like, well, what do you say when you foul somebody in basketball? Okay, you do this, right? Okay, so everybody knows that you're the one who fouled and you have to pay the price. Okay. So Jesus should have said, sorry, that was my fault. I understand that I should lose the ball and stop the play right here. I'm totally out of bounds. Okay? But he doesn't. What does he do instead? He heals him. He tells the unclean spirit to come out of him. He heals him. Okay. So he just keeps going across all the boundaries. This man isn't Jewish. They're not in a Jewish territory, so that they could agree on how things should go in this situation. And when Jesus asks him what his name is, what does he say? Legion. Okay. So what do you think of when you hear the word legion? What did you say? Like a legion or something. Okay.
Like a whole army.
Like a whole army. Okay. All right. Or like the American Legion Hall or something like that. You think about that. Okay. All right. So a lot of us, when we hear that word, we think of a large group of soldiers serving in the army. But the important thing here is that it means many. Okay? So this voice that's in his head tells him that it has many names. Okay? No doubt, there are names like worthless and burden and disturbed and maybe unloved. These names just rattle around in his head. So, too many to mention. They probably, how would you feel if you had names like that telling you who you are? Like you're not worth much. Okay. So, yeah, you probably feel sick and bad and ugly and out of place. Like he should place himself beyond the boundaries, right? Okay. So what Jesus does is he tells them to leave the man. And he gives these voices of destruction and chaos permission to bother the pigs instead. Well, and the poor pigs become so disturbed that they throw themselves into the lake and drown, and that part is sad. But the best part is when the people of the town come to see what has happened for themselves. What do they see? Did you hear what he said? He said they see the man who was possessed by demons just perfectly fine, and then they're scared. He's got it. Okay. Yeah, he's just sitting there quietly. He's wearing clothes, and he's sitting at the feet of Jesus. So he's listening, he's learning. He probably wants just to sit quietly there and learn about who he really is. So that can be part of that. So he probably wants to spend all day there. He could probably spend all his life there. So, but these people from the town, they don't appreciate Jesus going out of bounds, do they? That's a scary thing for them. And why is that? Why is that scary? Because it's a change. Yeah, it's not what they're used to. It's something completely different. So, they had been used to the way things were before. It wasn't fun. It was a pain to always go and capture this guy and chain him up again, but they knew what that was. They don't know what this is. So this is completely different. Okay. What Jesus has done here is create a whole new ball game, right? Okay, so what they thought were boundaries about, this is on this side, this is who's in, and this is who's out, well, all of a sudden now, they've got this guy, and he looks like he's healed. And what are they gonna do? He's gonna go back home with them and move in down the block. And that's something completely different. That's a whole new ballgame. They have to figure out how their lives will change. His name was Legion, and he will now live in bounds instead, because he hears different voices. Okay, so the only difference will be, what did Jesus tell him to do? When the man said, I want to follow you, and Jesus says, no, go back home and do this. Tell other people. Okay. Tell other people how much God did for you, right? Okay, all right. So, he's going to be able to participate in all their social activities. All of that will be different. And the only difference will be that now he'll be telling them how much God has done for him by working through Jesus. But we don't know. What we don't know is whether or not he becomes Jewish or Christian. All we know is that he now has a story to tell about God's goodness. Okay? So now, at the end of this unusual story, Jesus and his friends go back to the other side of the lake. And this is very interesting because this is the only time in the Gospel of Luke that Jesus goes out of bounds like this and then comes back. So it was to meet and cure this man. Not to be. So now, we have to think about all the names we hear in our own heads, and the names other people hear in theirs. Sick, broken, not good enough. There are often many, the legion of them. So no matter what those names are, the important thing is there are no people who are beyond the love and care of God. Okay? So, whether they're rich or poor, whether they're Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or Muslim or atheist, male and female, as we hear in another lesson, gay and straight, all ethnicities and abilities and ages. So, now I want you to take a look at your hands. Look at your hands for a minute, okay? So our hands are the only hands that Jesus has now, right? Sometimes we talk about God working through our hands. So, then the question becomes, how can we go out of bounds as he would ask us to, so that we can create a whole new ballgame with him working through us? Okay? So let's be thinking about that. All the many ways in which there are lines and we need to go out of bounds, tell people how much God loves us. And then,